I'm a dog, but I still wanna party. Pink felt like I'm ready to bend. I'm a 10, so I pull in a can. Like Jazzy, Stacy, all of the Barbies is pretty. Damn, all of the Barbies is bad. It girls, and we ain't playing tag. Rad, but he spank me when I get back. I'm in LA, Rodeo Drive. I'm in New York, Madison Ave. I'm a Barbie girl, pink Barbie dream house. The way Ken be killing shit got me yelling out like the scream house. Yelling out, we ain't selling out. We got money, but we ain't lending out. We got bars, but we ain't billing out. In that pink Ferrari, we pilling out. I told Tay, bring the vibe, billing out. So cold, we just chilling out. Baby, yelling, yelling, yep, yelling out. It's Barbie, bitch, if you still in doubt. And I'm bad like the Barbie. I'm a dog, but I still wanna party. Pink felt like I'm ready to bend. I'm a 10, so I pull in a can. Like Jazzy, Stacy, Nikki. All of the Barbies is pretty. Damn, all of the Barbies is bad. It girls, and we ain't playing tag. We ain't nothing to play about. You wanna play in the playhouse. What they gon' say now? I'm watching these bitches, I'm rubbing the stain out. Like I'm ready to bend. All the fake Barbies just wanna pretend. Like, don't let me go find me a pen. Wearing lead, now I'm up ready to bed. She a Barbie bitch with her Barbie clip. I keep dragging her so she both of it. And I see the bread, I want all of it. And I want the grip, so I all of it. And I throw it back so he losing it. And I hit the box with no shoes in it. Yeah, I know the trick, so I got him red. Yeah, ain't no more it. Yeah, I'm Barbie, bitch. And I'm bad like the Barbie. I'm a dog, but I still wanna party. Pink felt like I'm ready to bend. I'm a 10, so I pull in a can. Like Jazzy, Stacy, all of the Barbies is pretty. Damn, all of the Barbies is bad. It girls, and we ain't playing tag. Rad, but he spank me when I get back. I'm in LA, Rodeo Drive. I'm in New York, Madison Ave. I'm in LA, Rodeo Drive. I'm in New York, Madison Ave.
Hey divas, hey gents. Oh, it looks so good. I'm so proud of myself. When you are in a clutch and you trying to figure out something new and cute, but you trying to save a couple dollars, pick up one of them old wigs. As my girl Rochelle Chanel would say, I watch her whenever I need to pick me up, and I've been watching Rochelle Chanel heavy, and I've been watching Brooke Kennedy. Those are my girls right now. Chanel would say, if the wig is on the sick and shut-in list, you know, sometimes she likes to let it go, but sometimes you can revive. This wig was on the sick and shut-in. It was on its last leg, and all it needed was a wash, a cut, and a curl. Of course, once you bob it out, you know, you're stuck with that length, but you're not stuck with the texture that you can create. You can do crimps, you can do curls, you can do, you know, little couple layers in the front. You can do bangs. I apologize for the glare because sometimes there is a little glare, and this light actually is so bright. I wish I could tone it down, but it is what it is. So there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes with the designing and everything like that. So there is some goodies coming up. I did announce one of the young ladies that I am creating a piece for. So there's a lot of behind the scenes that I really don't incorporate because I consider it work. Even though it's something that I love, I do consider it to be work. Right now, I need to get a couple groceries. There's not a lot of things here in terms of like beverages. We like sparkling water. We like fresh spring water. We never really drink soda. We never really drink juice. So that's kind of like a fun fact. So I do need to run out and get a couple things. I don't really like to bother like my mother and be like, oh, can you give me a ride? You know, every little place. Because sometimes I like to get out and just hit some fresh air by myself. And I feel like I'm in this transitionary phase of my life where I'm here, but I just was there and I don't know where I'm going, but I still do a lot of things independently, like shopping, or, you know, I don't need company for a lot of different things, if that makes any sense. So about to head out and grab a couple things. I'm feeling really cute, and this is such a old sweater. I think I had this sweater for maybe 4 or 5 years, and it has these cute little bow gathering details on the side with like little bell sleeves. It's something simple. It's warm, it's cute, it's cozy. I'm wearing a basic undershirt from Target, and I have some leggings that are gray just like the top. So cute, so cute. And it is snowing outside. The weather is really, really nasty. So what's going to happen is I'm going to rock some snow boots. Now, I haven't been purchasing snow boots over the years. Over the years, I've been just purchasing Uggs. Uggs tend to get really, really wet, very disgusting looking when they're wet. And then it's unpredictable, the look of the boot once it gets wet. You know what I'm saying? So you can get a leather Ugg boot. It's more expensive. But even that, with the salt and everything of that nature on the ground, you kind of, you just get sick of it. They wear and tear so easily. So these boots I want to show y'all because they're very inexpensive, and you wouldn't even think, like, the price that I paid for it, I think I got a little bang for my buck, and I hope they last a couple years. So I am going to show y'all. It's crazy because I am just loving the color. I believe blue is the new black for me. Blue is the new black. And trust me, I'm really not a blue color type of girl, but for some reason it complements my skin. I feel fun. I feel youthful. This may be like my new staple color. Like, even if it's just a pop of color, or I don't think I'll go to the point where I dye my entire hair this color, but I don't know. I'm having so much fun just in the camera, feeling pretty. I think this is the pickup that I needed because baby girl has been feeling so depressed. I can't even express how unhappy I've been. And sometimes a color will really change your attitude, and this does it for me. It really does. I need a little bobby pin to secure the side, so I am gonna find it. But so these are the boots. Very, very cute. They are from Walmart. They have like this Velcro side, which is easy to get in. It's enough room around my calves, and I do love that. So I want to say, if you're wearing some type of boot sock or leg warmers, they fit right in. They're fully insulated, which I love. And I even love the cute little detail on the front. It appears that is the closure, but it's not. It's actually on the side. It's a platform, so you're kind of off the ground a bit. It's just cute. It just does it for me. They're black. You know, they had some other colors. But fun fact, Walmart delivers in less than 24 hours, even if you get regular delivery. Especially if you got a Walmart in your city with the product, you'll get this stuff within 24 hours. That's faster than Amazon. So, and these were on Amazon, but they were cheaper at Walmart. Baby, let me tell you, I don't think I paid $30 for these. Maybe $32. Period. And that includes the damn shipping. Okay, yeah, so I will say this. I was nervous about even purchasing the boots because it's so up and down the weather lately. Back in the day, it used to snow so much to the point where snow boots, you would think nothing of it. Buy them, wear them, rock them, that's it. Now it's like the snow doesn't last that long. It doesn't snow as often. Sometimes it's not even as cold, but it's snowing right now. So I couldn't wait to rock them and see what they look like on my feet. And they're so cute. They're so cozy. They're so comfortable, roomy. These are in men's, if I didn't say that too. But for them to be in men's, they came in burgundy. They came in a couple other colors that was really cute. And honestly, I don't know, depending on how my pockets are doing, I may get me a couple other colors, you know, just to have, because they may not always be the same price, especially once I hype them up. You know, the more people that buy them, the more they feel like it's high demand. So, you know, you can't tell people a good thing. But let me get out of here. Ooh, child, do not go to them people's market and you ain't ate nothing. I just was grabbing shit. But it's shit that I know that we love to eat. It looked like we finna be really snowed in. It was snowing the whole time I was outside, but I wanted to try these last time I was at Trader Joe's. I got the regular ones, but I wanted to try these. So these are like some type of veggie tortilla chips. These two Canada Dries came from a local bodega, basically corner store. And I got some bread. This is the good bread. I don't know how to pronounce it. Arsenin bread or something like that. Artinus, who knows? But anyway, I feel horrible when I say something wrong, but y'all tell me how to say this. Artsens. Anyway, crackers, because I think I'm going to do a soup. And I got some bread just in case I want to do grilled cheese. And I got some cheese. This fool, I asked him for cheddar cheese, half a pound. Why the flip did this man cut pepper jack? And I said, is this cheddar? He said, no, pepper jack. And fool, I asked for cheddar. So I said, you know what, never mind, because now you gonna cut my stuff with anger in your heart. Just give me what you got. So I don't even know if the fool know what's really in there. So it's going to be up for debate. But anyway, I grabbed another one of these pico de gallo salsas. Last time I made a mistake and got spicy, but this is mild. And I picked up some feta cheese. I'm back on my feta kick, and my eggs and everything else, salad. But tomato soup, this was supposed to be $1, but apparently they charged me full price. Now I'm pissy, but it will go good with a cocktail or something like that. I got some shrimp because I don't know what kind of soup I want to do, but I may put some shrimp in it. Who flipping knows? Smoked salmon was everything, so I got some more salmon. I love tortilla wraps for like breakfast. Even though eggs is not my judge like that the way it used to be, child, I get nauseous. But I got some different tortillas just in case I'm in the mood. Some habanero lime in case I want to make like a little tuna wrap. This is for my mother just in case she want to do like a little charcuterie with the crackers. And I got some french fries just in case, you never know. We already got a whole bunch of shit in here, but like little everyday snacks, stuff that you don't have to cook, not so much, because we dozed that before anything. I got another thing of Greek yogurt, and I got a story time about this damn yogurt. Not this, but the kefir yogurt. I got a whole story time. But anyway, and also we've been on the salad kick here. You know, I guess the turn of the new year, you want to kind of get yourself together. So I got some chopped salads. So this is more like my judge. I like romaine and spinach, and my mother, she likes a little bit of kale. My stomach can't handle kale, but I did get some stuff that I think she would like, you know, just to be nice. And if I didn't say my 2 0 sugar Canada Dries. So yeah, that's really it. I mean, it looks like a lot, but it's really not. Oh, and these little bars are always good just to throw in your purse or a little quick grab when you on the run. So yeah.
Dive into me and take all my pain. You make my waterfall. I can't hold nothing back.
Some garlic powder, Lori seasoned, onion powder, thyme, chilies, and we have some salt, some celery seeds, and also a little bit of Creole seasoning. Okay, so we just gonna pour these bad boys on in. And the potatoes and the onions is the only thing that's in here with some bay leaves. And of course water and olive oil. Oh, this pot is on the sick and shut-in list. All right, divas and gents, this is the soup. It's just shrimp, crab, potato, and yeah, vegetables. Really, really good. The other one that I made has all of these ingredients, but it just has some chicken inside for the family to eat. But for me, pescatarian, and look at my little piece of bread that's left. We tore this bread down. Oh my God. Hey divas, hey gents. So I am back, and this time we are going to get into some self-care while we chat it up. It's so many things I want to talk to you about, and I've attempted to do it several times, even today and within the week, but I felt like I didn't look perfect or I didn't have like an activity going on. So I wanted to talk and, do some content stuff too. So today we're going to get into self-care. So I have my jade roller and a glass of ice, just regular water, regular ice. And you want to have it getting cold while you're starting your face process. Also, if there's any vitamins and water that you need to intake, do so while you're doing your skincare routine. There's several vitamins that I like to take every day. Also, my thyroid medicine. Thyroid medicine I thought was going to be a stressor. It has become my everyday thing. I do take it. It's a very tiny pill. And also I do 2 gummies. You're supposed to do 2 and 2. This is vitamin C and this is a multivitamin, but too much of it causes my underarms to break out. So I'm assuming I don't need that much. So I take the multivitamin, I take the vitamin, and I take the vitamin C. And also I take my fish oil. So that's it. That's all I do every morning. The fish oil pill is a big pill to swallow. So I recommend that you take your time swallowing that pill, because I don't care what the situation is, them big ass pills, you can make a mistake and choke or have some type of reflex. And I think pills for me and toothpaste make me gag a little bit. So make sure you take your time, drink some water. Drink a lot of water before and a lot of water after. Make sure your throat is lubricated. I did bring some stuff up from the kitchen. So a lot of people often compliment me on my skin and they're like, well, what do you use on your skin? For years, all I used was nothing but water. This is water because I'm going to add a little dab to my turmeric powder and a little dab to my sugar. And what I do is I mix them with that little bit of water, and this is now my face mask and this is my lip scrub. So I keep them separate. What I do on an average at night, I do alcohol. Now I take a swab and I put a little bit of regular alcohol on that swab. I wipe, and then I go over it immediately with a cold rag or a warm rag, depending on the time of day. Sometimes at night I use a warm rag, and in the day I use a cooler rag. I believe that it wakes your face up and it also tightens your pores when you go over it with a cold rag. Now, that's my process, and we'll talk about that as we get into the conversation. Now, here's the thing. I want to know, how do women really feel when their son dates a new woman? That's what I really want to know. I was getting into a young lady's content. I have a bad habit of first thing in the morning, I check my phone and then I check social media. So I'm checking social media, and this young lady, she is in this she's in this relationship with this pretty hot guy. The only thing I can say, the guy, he didn't have any facial hair to the point where he looked like he was 18. But for some reason, what pops up on my feed was her walking into a gathering with her family, celebrating either the birth of her baby or the becoming birth of her baby, or she was celebrating her engagement because she's now married to him and she has a child by him. And she's highlighting the fact that the mother, as she walks in the room, the mother was not celebrating her. She threw some type of shade. She didn't want to clap for her. She didn't want to acknowledge that this young lady was pregnant, with her grandchild. None of that. So that's what kind of drew me into her content. Now, moving forward, the young lady is bragging on how she doesn't have to work, how, you know, her man wants her to stay home, you know, how she gets to shop at the finer places, and, you know, she's doing pretty much well for herself as a stay-at-home mom. Parents that have sons, how do y'all feel about women dating your son? You know, especially if your son is very well off. Do you feel like you have to kind of pre-survey this girl to see if she's like a good fit? Do you feel as though your opinion matters? And this is alcohol that I'm going to be using. Regular alcohol, 70% alcohol. Nothing major, nothing spectacular. You can get this for $1. So the young lady, she's basically showing that she's happy. She's not on any type of vacations or anything like that. And I'm not going to tag her social media, but I will say that she's basically saying that she's happy. You know, she's an at-home wife. She has a new baby. It is what it is. You know, yes, he's well off. Yes, we live a luxury lifestyle. We shop, we party. But essentially, I love this man. This woman can't stand her. And I can see some of the things that may be alarming, but honestly, I think they're a cute couple because I can look at I'm looking at the guy because she puts him in the videos from time to time. And that's one of the things that a lot of women don't do nowadays. They try to hide their men for some reason. This girl wants her man all up in the camera. She don't even care. She's like, come on in here, you know, dance with me, smile with me, do all the things. Child, you'll be surprised how much makeup is still on your face from last night. I didn't wash my face last night, and that's why I'm making it a point to do this kind of facial right now because it's probably needed. It's been about maybe a couple weeks since I did this process. So anyway, she's enjoying him. You know, she wants him around. I think what it is I'm not saying that women aspire to be stay-at-home moms because I don't. I have never even thought about that. I've always been the type of woman that and I'm going to lay a towel down because this turmeric gets all over the place. And I'm actually going to do the sugar scrub first because I don't want to disturb the turmeric once I get it on there. So this young lady, you know, I don't think there's a problem being a stay-at-home mom. And I think that would concern me as a mother. I would wonder, you know, how long is this going to last? If he reaches some type of pitfall, are you able to step in and provide in some capacity? Do you even want to provide in some capacity? You know, so those are some of the things that would be of concern to me. But I wouldn't automatically think that she's a gold digger because these are lifestyles. A gold digger can only go but so far. These are lifestyles that you have put on her as a man. You know, if for some reason she ever, you know, you were wooing her and let's just say you bought her a watch or a fancy purse or something like that, you kind of coerced her into that lifestyle, you know, so no one around you can assume that she's a gold digger if these are the steps that you've used to court her, or if this is your love language. If this is your love language, I don't see where it's a problem, you know. And if you see that you want to take care of her, take care of her. I think the worry is some mothers look at their kids as their husbands, especially if they're single mothers, you know. And even though in your mind you know that that's your child, you raised your child, you know when it's something where you want to make a point, that's when you know what's right and wrong. But in hindsight of it all, sometimes a lot of these women make their older sun their world. You know, especially if they don't have a man, especially if a man has not been present the whole time. And it shows when they find a woman that they love, and now there's two women that are the leading focus of their life. So I think that's where the shade comes from. I think that's pretty much that's insecurity on the mother, you know. It is a very grainy, you know, you got to make sure you just put a dab of water. It's very grainy. It tastes amazing. A lot of people put lemon juice, coconut oil. I just use the water right now, because the water goes a long way. You don't have to put all that hyaluronic acid, all that crap on your face. Water is the main agent that you need. If all you have is water, you'll be fine. Hot water, cold water, those are the differences, and they do amazing for years. When I say years, I put nothing on my face but water. I do not, and I'm going to say it again, I don't put any soap on my face. Whenever I used to try, because I have tried, it tears my skin up. And I mean the mildest soap, like Dove, would tear my face up. It wouldn't tear my body up, but it would tear my face up. So you kind of exfoliate your lips, but around my nose, ever since we had to wear like masks for like COVID, sometimes I get a little dry and scaly around there. So I do a light exfoliation there too. And around my chin, those little beads just stick out sometimes. If you know, you know. And you want to go in clockwise motions. So that's just what I recommend. And I don't recommend you do this really hard. I recommend that you let the grains do what it do. And then I also recommend that you don't overdo it, because you can literally tear your skin. So that's it. That's it. And you can literally throw this away because you need it for nothing else. Because what the more you wash your face, the softer the skin is going to be. You literally can throw this right in the trash. So you rinse it off and you go into the next process, which is the turmeric. And really, that's it. Once you rinse off your turmeric mask, you're going to ice the face down. So yeah, so I've had a situation similar where a mother did not care for me. And it was right off the rip. Of course, this man was not a breadwinner at all. I will say that. This man, he did provide for me in some capacity, but he wasn't like a millionaire. He wasn't even a thousandaire. This man was a few $100s every now and again, and when he had it, I had it type of person, and I appreciated it. So moving forward, this lady had never seen me. She knew nothing about our relationship, and later down the line, I found out that she knew about another woman. Now, we did grow on one another, but it took some time, and your skin will automatically start to look better when you do that. Even when you do that a little bit around your lips, it kind of gets away them little fuzzy hairs. But so, however, this lady did not know me that much. And when we first met each other, he had snuck me in his house. And around this time, I was maybe all of 22, 23. So he was slightly a couple years older, so he might have been maybe 25, 26. He sneaks me in his house. And come to find out, it gets crazy because he didn't necessarily live with his mother, but he would take me over his mother's house. And I later learned that this man really was staying with another girl. But, however, when he snuck me over the house, I really didn't know all of the tea. He pretty much sneaks me out with her back turned towards the door. So she's downstairs watching TV, and this is my first time ever even seeing a figure of her, what she looks like. You know, I've always wanted to know what she had looked like at this point, you know, because I was head over heels in love with him. Of course, I wanted to meet his parents. So she turned her head as he was trying to like distract her so I can just run out the door or whatever. And she seen me. So I just kept going. But the next time I came over, she was privy to my arrival. And she started playing this song. And at the time, I couldn't recognize what it was. But it was very derogatory in terms of, it was basically fat shaming. And it was the Fat Boys. I had later learned that it was the Fat Boys. So she's playing the Fat Boys on her laptop. And I realized every time I came over, as soon as I walked in the door, she pretty much had the Fat Boys going. And I'm like, this lady is disrespecting me. And she's trying to play me for a fool. And he basically, I don't know if he didn't know about it or he didn't know who it was playing or paying attention to it, because he will also get so comfortable after we had kind of acquainted ourselves with one another that he had started leaving us in rooms with one another for long periods of time. You know, if his brother was there, because his brother had a room in the basement, and they would be down there like talking, chatting it up. I don't know, probably smoking some type of marijuana. Who knows? He would leave me sitting with her from time to time. And I couldn't stand it because nobody knew how she was disrespecting me. And she also wouldn't talk. He had introduced us, yes. But she wouldn't talk, and she would just sit and fiddle faddle on this laptop, and she would play the Fat Boys. She would play Watch Out for the Big Girls, all of the things. So I was like, oh, wow, this is starting to get kind of like crazy. So it had gotten so bad to where I was starting to get those urges to say something. So over time, I don't know if it was her that initiated conversation, but she would compliment like some of the things that I had on. And then it had gotten so interesting to where she would turn off the laptop and she would just start to ask me shit. You know what I'm saying? Or something about my hair or something like that. Because at the time, I believe she was wearing wigs, but they weren't like, you know, they weren't the up-to-date, like the things that the girls were wearing like that. So she would inquire about things a lot. So this was at the time where I was wearing my natural hair, and I might have did like a couple blend-ins every now and again. But for the most part, I was switching up so much, braids, weaves, all kinds of stuff. So she would always compliment my hair because I stayed with my hair done. I was just one of them type of girls that was just into hair, period. So over time, like I said, she has started to kind of warm up to me. But baby, it took all of maybe 6 months for this lady to give a fuck about me, period. Like she had dogged me. And mind you, this man had hid me from his family for reasons that I don't even feel like getting into. He had hid me from his family for 3 years. And that's how I knew that it all started to add up. Of course, over that 3-year course, I would ask him, what's going on? What are we? Because I haven't met a friend, I haven't met a family member, and we would argue about it so much. So once we had gotten over his mother house, I had knew around that time, I had found out he was dealing with someone else. And I was trying to convince him, because I wanted to be with him so bad. I was like, you need to move out of living with whomever he was living with at the time, because I want to be with you. But the only alternative was him going back to his mother's. So I guess he was trying to, show me the lifestyle that they were living over there, which wasn't always amazing. But like I said, she warmed up to me, and later down the line, honey, I wound up living there. And this lady literally talked my head off every day. But during this time, I was in college, and like I said, I wasn't in the best situation with him because he was a cheater. He wound up cheating with the young lady that he was living with. And on top of that, he was cheating with random girls too. So this is where we really had a falling out in some capacity. And maybe she didn't think it was a falling out, because at this point, she thinks that we're good girlfriends. And in so many words, we were kind to one another. I had a respect for her, like I had a respect for a lot of elderly women. But it seemed like it was growing to be a tighter relationship between me and her than me and her son, because she wasn't telling me all of the disrespectful things that the son was doing behind my back. And child, I could go on for hours, because later I find jewelry. I found the jewelry box. I need to open up to y'all, because I don't really open up a lot, and I can open up about some things. I find this jewelry box. Let me just say that. In this jewelry box, I don't know what's in it. I find it in his jacket. And at this point, I'm living with him. I'm living with his mother. And we have been falling out. I'll give or take every month. There's a new girl on his phone. There's a sexual picture. He deletes every text he sends anyone. So all you see is responses from women, and you can tell they have full-on conversations, but he deletes them all because he don't want anyone to find, he don't want me to find what he's saying to them. But this fool, you can clearly see that it's a sexual text. So several things are going on. I'm finding out, and just excuse me, because I don't want y'all to think that I picked the wrong people. I want y'all to realize that people can hold up such a persona that it literally will have you rethinking your whole mindset. I find out two things. I find this ring, and I also find out that this man, every time I'm checking in his phone, my number isn't saved. And at this point, yes, he had hidden me for 3 years, but following forward, I had now been living there for all of maybe 2 years. And I had a whole falling out with my family. And he wound up convincing his mother to let me stay there. And I appreciated it. Only thing I didn't appreciate is he was not forthcoming with his educational background. Come to find out, he was different. And I'm not throwing shade on that, the type of disability that leads from him being so different. But he was different. And in his phone, not only was he deleting text messages, he was not saving any names, especially mine. And I'm like, why isn't my name saved? And come to find out, this man did not know how to read or write. How I found out, we're playing a whole game on, we made up a game rather. His kids was over there. Another thing, he had children on me, 2 at the same time. It was really bad, and these are some of the things that I ignored because I was so focused in graduating college. I was working, I was interning. We talked about this on my last vlog. So I'm going through all this stuff and I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to focus. Maybe things will get better. Maybe it won't. I'm trying to convince him to go to school. I'm trying to convince him to, save to buy a house because he was making good money. I'm trying to do all the things, but on the flip side, his mother is warming up to me so much that she doesn't want me to leave, but she knows that things are getting bad as far as him cheating and stuff. So we're playing this game with his son and his two sons because he had two older children. He has some baggage. So we're playing this game, right? Next thing I know, I made this game up to where we write random things on a piece of paper. It was similar to charades. And you act out what it is and we have to figure out what it is. So I wrote basic shit. Cat, dog, I don't know, lion, tigers, bears. It was just something we made up to pass time. And they didn't have a lot of games in the house. So finally, it's his turn to act out what it is that's on these papers. And we were just picking it out of the hat. Literally, it was so generic how we made this up. It was just something fun. So he's struggling on this word. And I'm like, I know I wrote it down legible. And I know the words is not that, it's not funny. I know that the words is not that hard to read. So I'm like, what's going on? Now, we had a conversation about him being a little different, but I honestly assumed that it was some type of maybe dyslexia or something like that. And then I don't really think I knew the magnitude of what that even was, but I did think that he could read simple things, and he did graduate high school. I just didn't know all of the details. So I said, what is going on here? So I think his son wound up looking at the cards and he just read it off to him in his ear. And then his dad got up and started reenacting it. But at that point, his son already knew what it was. I knew what it was because I wrote the stuff down. So it really wasn't that fun. The only perplexed thing was, why were you struggling over these words? Like, what's going on? So later he opens up, because this was one of the relationships that I can say where this man literally will tell you the truth if he's caught in a lie. And here's the thing. It's already a bad thing that there is some lying involved, but I will say it's refreshing when someone doesn't continue to lie. So I finally say to him, what's going on? Because my name isn't saved in your phone. You were struggling reading them words. What exactly is going on? So he opens up that he was full on, autistic, and that reading is definitely not his strong point. He has a life coach and he's basically considered, different, special, whatever you want to call it. So I said, wow, I never dealt with anything like that. But at this point, it was starting to make sense because a lot of his siblings were highly autistic. So I never threw shade on it. I said, okay, fine. I said, maybe we can. And this is where I started to this is where you realize where a woman has a heart, because a lot of other women would be like, this shit is too much. Like, I don't want to be attached to it. I said, maybe we can get some special books. Maybe we can get you in a couple classes where you brush up on your reading, something. But he wasn't into it. But what's crazy is that he's good looking. He looks like an able person. You would never know. He's just different. And there's a lot of hiccups that he has. So moving forward, we never got to turn around from that. But the cheating that he was doing was on a 10. So here's the thing. Wound up one day going to pick up his jacket to either move it or whatever, and it's this huge like box. He also had an issue with holding on to things, and things had to be positioned and sitting in such a way, and if it wasn't, he can automatically recognize that somebody touched his stuff. Even if it was just a hair, he can recognize it. So I'm like, okay, there's something in this jacket. I can't make out what it is. And over time, I would notice that he would sit his jacket some type of way. Like, he was really funny about this. And at the time, also, it wasn't that cold outside. So he was hiding something under there or under that area. And he was making it seem like he was just adjusting his coat. It sounds kind of strange, but that's how strange it was. Finally, I gets up and I find this jewelry box. And I'm like, oh. And all I can think about is I'm in school, I'm trying to be somebody. I know we live together, but is this fool about to propose? Because it was that type of box. So I said, okay, I don't know where this is going to go, but I'm getting nervous. And now I have to explain that I found this box, correct? Child, let me tell you. Finally, my newsy ass, something said that this is slightly too big to be a ring box. Or maybe I just never really put my hand on what exactly this, I don't know. But I opens it. Child, it's a damn silver band bracelet made for a man. And it has his initials on it. And it has these other initials on it that is unknown, but it definitely wasn't mine. And clearly somebody had gave him a gift, and he has been hiding and preserving it for whatever reason, but he has not wore this bracelet. Before I asked the mother about these initials, what I did do was my research. Now, here's another thing. I don't know if it's the scorpion in me. I don't know if it's just, how do I say it? I don't know if it's a scorpion in me. And I also don't know if it's just me being a woman and me being newsy as fuck. But suddenly I was on a prowl and I was looking under stuff more, because he had a little thing with shit everywhere. But I was like, it has to be something in this stuff that would explain what the fuck is going on, because that's how mysterious he is. And I started finding, what do they call it? Money orders or MoneyGrams. At the time, I knew nothing about MoneyGram. You couldn't tell me what MoneyGram was. That wasn't a thing, but apparently that was the Cash App back in the day. MoneyGram. Only thing is, you had to go to your local Rite Aid or your local Walgreens. Child, these MoneyGrams was coming from this girl, and her initials was A and B. Literally, first name A, last name B. I'm like, oh wow, this is making sense, because his initials was on the bracelet and her initials is now showing up on these MoneyGrams. So with that, what do you do when you find out a name? Facebook, Instagram, you on it, because you can get a picture and you can find out what part of the city this woman is in. So finally, I not only get her Facebook, but for some reason back then people put their phone numbers on Facebook before it was a messenger. So I said, oh wow, so I can get a hold of this bitch. So I don't know why I was angry at her, because clearly she knew nothing of me. So now I goes to the mother, and this is where it starts to show, do you really fuck with me or do you not? Because like I said in the beginning, there was so much shade for a long time. And then over time, it became, she was so cool to the point you thought we were fucking girlfriends. So I goes to her, and I now I have these money orders and I have this fucking box. So I goes to her, and she's home all the time because she's taking care of her adult children that are autistic. And it was so honorable to see her do that. But I would have appreciated if she would have told me more about the son that I was with, because I was slowly learning things that I don't know if I would have necessarily been okay with, knowing straight off the back. I probably would have just walked on by. So at this point, now I'm asking her about who is this person, and I'm crying, I'm mad. She was like, I think you should just focus on school. I think you should just do your thing. She's telling me everything that a mother should say, and I appreciated that. And that's why I say I love her to this day. I still think she's a very sweet lady. I just think that she was really protecting her son, but she knew that eventually, she had to have known in her mind that eventually I would move on, because her son just wasn't, it's not that he wasn't smart enough. He was just really just a jerk, as far as he had to stick his thing in everything. And I needed to find out what else was going on, because at this point I was having unprotected relations with him, all kinds of things. And I just was heavily concerned all the time. So she finally comes out to say, you know what? I think I do know her. You think, or you know? So I'm like, okay, so what do you know? So she goes to say, basically, he brung the girl around, and brung the girl around to a barbecue. And I guess at this point, maybe me and him was on the outs. Maybe me and him just wasn't even around each other. But she said, I did see her. She said, I looked at her, I said hello, but I really don't know. So I do think that that's how it went down, because she's so hard on somebody, that she first meets that belongs to him. So pretty much he was so swell, and he had surpassed whatever disability he had. The only hiccup was he wasn't a great reader. He wasn't a great writer. It's a huge hiccup, but that was the only hiccup. But the thing is, he do have other things that's really quirky and weird. But she held on to him so tight, to the point where she was protecting the fact that this man was cheating on me, and she knew that I was a good girl for her son. So I'm like, I'm going through too much. Like, I can't do it. So over time, I've learned from other family members that he had brought that girl around, yes, to that very cookout where they all must have been. And they was like, she's not that cute. She's not as beautiful as you, this and that, this and that. And I'm like, I think that part wouldn't even matter. I think the part that really matters is, why y'all ain't tell me that this nigga, you know what I mean? So it was just like that. So a whole bunch of research. I called her, we talked. And around this time, everything started spilling out. Not only before I presented that I had talked to her, what happened was other girls now were popping up to the house. I had been at this house for almost 3 years, and all these women were starting to pop out of the woodworks. One girl came, she said, oh, I remembered you lived here. I needed to get home, and I don't have no money like that. I wanted to know if you had a few dollars. He gave her a few dollars to get the fuck home. At the door, you know what I mean? So then another girl came over, and she said, I was just in the area. I remember y'all lived here, and I miss you. I miss your mom. So it was all this shit going on. And I said, you know what? You gonna have to tell these girls not to come past here no more, because you have a lady that lives here with you. You're the person that you love, so you say. So it was so much disrespect happening, and it was all happening back to back. This is where that saying, what goes on in the dark shows up in the light. All this shit was happening just by coincidence, right around the time when I was finding all this shit. It was just becoming so evident that I didn't need to be with him anymore, that it has to stop now. So suddenly this girl comes back, and the one that asks for money to get home. So it's a lot going on, but this girl keeps coming back because she knows that he has money, and she's trying to also sway him in a way. You can smell a hoe when you're around one. So this girl is now coming back after getting money to get home, and now I happen to answer the door. The first time, he peeped her, and he was talking to her at the door, and I thought that this was the ring girl, or I'm sorry, the bracelet girl, because I thought it was a ring box, but it's really a bracelet in there with their fucking initials. I finally comes to the door, and this girl is coming to the door. I said, are you the bitch? So now I'm like, is this her? Because she kind of favored the girl that I found on Facebook that had sent him this bracelet. it wasn't her. This was once again just this girl that known him for whatever amount of time, and she was popping up. She needed money bad. So my dumb ass had such a heart. I said, girl, you can't come over here no more, girlfriend, but I am going to help you out because I'm a woman, and I'm going to give you this $2.50 to get your ass on the bus. But please don't come knocking on this door again, because you will get your ass beat because you don't even know what's going on. So she left. I had never seen her again. And let's just say I stuck around for a while for the benefit of the doubt, and chemistry was there. It was a lot of shit going on, and I hated how I was in that. I hated how I had to be there, because at this point it was so much shit going on with my family that I literally couldn't be around these people. It's just a thing. And I can't expose. But the shit that was going on in my personal life, it was fucking hell. So now I'm looking at these money orders, because he still doesn't know that I am privy that this woman is sending so much money to him. And also, he's giving me so much money on the very days where she's sending money to him. Yes. So what's happening is every dime that she was giving this man, he was giving to me. Hair, nails, feet, this, that. What the fuck? So it was just like, okay, this is beginning to be a bit interesting. But all of the receipts were coming from Jersey. And I said, wait, Jersey? So it had dawned on me, and at this point, we're going to bring it to a close. It had dawned on me that this bitch, and I'm talking about the guy I was dealing with now, this motherfucker at this point had been calling me a couple of nights, proclaiming that him and his cousin was stranded and car had broke down in Jersey. And the reason why he was taking forever to get back in the house is because he had to walk across the Jersey Bridge to get home. Only thing is, when he said that, something clicked to me, this nigga is lying. Something clicked to me again, nobody walks across the Jersey Bridge after midnight. And then what even clicked in more is that not even within 2 hours, this nigga did not come home. This nigga still didn't come home. So moral of the story is he was a liar. So he was a liar, he was a cheater, and he was messing with a girl in Jersey, and old girl was from Jersey. Everything was just there. All the pieces of the puzzle came together. I couldn't believe how entangled the nonsense was. I wound up getting her on the phone, and what happened was he came in from work, and by now he knows that everything is figured out. Either his mother told him or this young lady has said something. He comes from work, and I said, I need to talk to you. He said, give me a minute, I gotta go to the bathroom. He was in that bathroom. If he could have spent the night in there, he would have. He stayed in that bathroom so long that he thought that I would forget what I had to speak to him about. Child, 45 minutes probably passed. This man, you don't got a scent coming out of there. You don't hear a bo peep. This nigga is in that bathroom still. Finally, his mother asked him to do something, and he wound up going to the store or something like that for his mom. Baby. Ooh, I feel so nauseous. And that's another thing. I can't wait to go to the doctor. I feel so nauseous. I look so crazy. Even in the light, my light keeps going out, but look at this. It's like a golden color. Like when you rinse this off, you really need to be over a stainless steel sink to rinse this off, because it will stain everything. So I don't know what happened, but he wound up getting out of talking to me when he came right out of that bathroom. But I was sitting the same way in the same spot in the same seat, waiting. waiting to talk to this fool. So now he done ran to the store, came back. Baby, by the time he came back, he couldn't get out of it. I said, I got somebody on the phone I want you to talk to. He like, who? I put the bitch on speakerphone. She on speakerphone. He's standing there, stiff as a board. Child, he already was super, super light. At the time, I was into light-skinned dudes. Super, super light. And baby, he couldn't get out of it now. She said, this girl is saying she been with you, you know, for almost 5 years or so now. Me and you just met within a year. I'm thinking you're my boyfriend. I'm buying you things. She said, I knew it was something when you weren't wearing the jewelry that I bought you. And that's not cool how you're playing on both of our heartstrings. You know, she sounds so educated and so polite. I'm like, bitch, please. You know, but I'm letting her digging his ass. So I don't know if everything ceased, but I'm just assuming so. And he actually, I don't know if he was crying or he was mad or what. But at that point, I said, I don't want to be with you no more. And he just got upset. And because we really were into each other and we knew each other for so long, it was hard to just let that go. I had known him since I was about 19, you know what I mean? And we had been playing on and off for a while, and we really were into each other. And, you know, even if I see him today, it's really still all love because we went through a lot. He knows me a lot. But that on again, off again really fucked shit up with a lot of other things. And also, he needed to really get it together. I couldn't be with anyone like that because I feel like if I'm furthering myself educational wise, business wise, you know, and I'm growing, I want you to grow as well. And I knew that he had it in him, but it will be a hindrance if he doesn't want to fix it. And that was the thing. And then him cheating so much, you know, it was a hindrance, you know. And I just noticed little things, you know, a lot of when he had children on me, that was a lot. But those girls weren't my race. They weren't my background. The women that he did kind of get into, they kind of talked really snooty and uppity. I really think that his aesthetic wasn't even me and he didn't know it. But I just couldn't do it no more. But I really felt very betrayed by the mother because I said, you knew and you didn't tell me. And we had talked so much, you know what I'm saying? And that's where I really got offended, you know. And even it was even another situation where this man basically, in so many words, he slept around with her sister's best friend, the mother, his mother, sister, had a best friend. And he slept with her at a Halloween party that we all attended and told me that he was going to take me home and he had to go back and get something. And I found out that he slept with a woman there. So I felt like a lot of them knew what was going on and they weren't telling me. And it came off as I thought I was the problem. You know, I thought I was doing too much. I even felt like I was disrespectful because I was staying there so long and I had no idea how I was going to get out of that because I didn't want to impose on anyone, you know what I'm saying? And I would always, they didn't know that I was talking to him every night. We have to get our own place. Like, you know, what are you doing with your money? All of those things, you know. He had a drug problem, you know, so it was a lot. You know, I found out that a lot of his own earnings, he was spending on drugs. So it's just like, it was just so intense. And I always pat myself on the back for finishing school, for focusing on my goals, for doing all the things that I had did around that time because nothing around me was supportive. You know, nothing was going well. You know, I literally had to get it out the mud. So, I don't know. I think Like I said, I thank God for her because that was just a place where I could be and do what I had to do. It wasn't any aesthetics there. It wasn't any, sometimes I didn't have much food to eat. I was getting cheated on, lied to, all of the things. And yes, I did feel like I was betrayed in some sense. But I thank God that I had a place where I could just focus on what I needed to focus on, and maybe all the resources wasn't there, but child, I pulled through. But that baby, yes, I was not liked. I was lied to, and it was a lot. But baby, when you find a good one, you find a good one. And I will say, you gotta take it easy on some of these young girls because it be the son that's a hot ass mess. And then when we do find a good one, child, we gonna put it on them. We gonna make you think that we don't put that thing on them too hard, because you don't know what we've been through. So I don't know. I hope that helps somebody to understand that sometimes it ain't you. That ain't the reason why people don't like you. You know what I'm saying? But child, it is what it is. But let me get into getting this stuff off my face. So I will say use a dark towel that you don't mind getting messed up. I like to use dark towels when I am washing my face, period, because makeup, things of that nature, you really just want to make sure you don't ruin your towels or washcloths. So some people think that you should use white washcloths on your face. No, definitely no. Because there's makeup and dirt involved, I wouldn't. But if you don't wear a lot of makeup, then it probably shouldn't matter. But if you're at hotels and stuff, they do charge you if you mess up certain washcloths and shit, Airbnbs and shit like that. Use the darker cloths for your makeup or makeup wipes. But I don't like makeup wipes because I don't necessarily know what's in them. And oh my goodness, around my nose is a little red because that's where I struggle. I don't know what it is. Ever since we were wearing masks, baby, my skin is so sensitive right there. So now what I like to do is the roller. We have talked so much. So what happens is ice cold, and right after you rinse with warm or hot water, which I love doing hot water, baby, you just roll this over your skin. You don't go all crazy. Some people be all, like, child, that's not going to do anything. It's just not. Because at that point, you're pulling your skin, and I just don't care what nobody say about that. You are pulling your skin way too much. I just cool my skin down, close those pores up. It's kind of like, I think of my face as when you do hair conditioning and they ask you to rinse it out with cool water. I rinse my face with cool water. That closes up my pores, period. I love using pure ice. I can stand it. Some people can't. I love just taking an ice cube and rubbing it on my face. Child, it closed my pores up so much. But my skin isn't, I would say what pores? And don't forget those eyes too. That'd be the first thing to get wrinkled, right around them eyes. Oh, this was so good. Notice how we use nothing but natural products, nothing but water. No soap. We cleanse our face with a little bit of alcohol, or you can use witch hazel. My mother used witch hazel. Witch hazel smell like barbecue sauce to me, but whatever. And I don't want to lay around smelling like no damn barbecue sauce. Oh, this feels so good. Crazy thing is, as a kid, I used to have wrinkles in my forehead. Now I don't even know where they went. Honestly, never even noticed that they were going until they were going. If that make any sense. There you go. Whew. My light keep going in and out, but so you can go in, and I'm gonna go in and pluck and clean my brow. But yeah, so I don't know, like I said, with mothers is very interesting because I had one that was hot and cold on me, and I thought we became cool enough for her to like advocate for me in that relationship, but she really didn't. And I don't know why, because I know it hurt her that I didn't stick around. But I wound up leaving. Once I found out that he slept with one of the friends of the family, I left. I left right after that. I didn't appreciate all of it. And I wound up approaching the aunt. I asked her, you know, what was that? And the aunt said she proclaimed she didn't know anything about it. She said, I know just as much as you know. And I didn't believe it. I believed that she knew that they at least slept with one another. So at that point, everybody in the family had started telling on him because he was approaching his cousin's girlfriends, all kinds of stuff. This man was just, he was just a hoe. And it wasn't like I wasn't doing all of the things. I was doing all of the things. It's just some niggas just want everything. They get bored, or I don't know what. They're too hypersexual. Or maybe if I'm not around, it was something. You know, this man just had too much time on his hands. And I don't know. I really couldn't say. He missed out on a good thing. And to this day, we never came around to understanding one another because he was just so weird. Like we had, you know, connected after that. We fooled around a little bit. But child, I got stories for days about that man. That man was crazy as fuck. I gotta tell y'all about the cucumber story, how he pulled a cucumber out on me. I'm like, the fuck are we doing with the cucumber? Like, I got stories for days. That's why my girlfriends always tell me that you either need your own TV show or write a book. And I think a book wouldn't do it justice because y'all need to see some visuals. Child, this man, he was crazy. We started messing around again. And I don't know, he started his weird shit again. Pulled out a cucumber with the lights off. And I'm like, sir, what is that cold on my back? And for it's a lot. And then for a minute, I'm like, wait a minute, what is this? I hear rappers going, and I heard plastic rattling, and it wasn't like condoms or anything. This man, I feel something cold. He already back there. We full on in. If you know, you know. If you know, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. You're grown enough to understand when I'm talking around some shit. He's pulling out a damn I said, turn the fucking light on. That's what I said, right? Because at this point, I'm hearing weird noises and I know when something weird is going on. He turns the light on. He's standing there with this whole English cucumber. The thing looked like a fucking rifle. I said, this is when he started to show his true discipline. This is when this nigga started to show how weird he really was, child. After 100 years, I had the light on and this fool is still looking retarded. And I said, sir, what the fuck was you finna do with that? Well, this nigga gonna say, well, I know you. I know you like to use toys every now and again. So, when have you ever known me to use something that length? Okay, that thing was the size of my arm. Okay, the length of my arm. And you ain't never known me to use anything that didn't vibrate. Okay, so we ain't never had to have anything no bigger than this to really do something. Why the fuck you got this shotgun in here? This nigga. I said, put this shit up. And I said, and my whole thing is, he walked in, it ain't look like he had shit on him. Where the hell you had it in your pant leg? Hiding? Child. I'm telling you, it had got more and more, the moments were getting more and more peculiar. And I no longer understood what I was attracted to. And this was us coming back to one another. Like, you know how at this point he had became an old faithful. Just somebody you call on when you don't feel like taking a chance with somebody new. Nigga was slow. Like, I couldn't deal with it. And then the thing was, we were already in the act. So where the fuck were you going to put that cucumber? Ooh, child, I couldn't make this stuff up. I couldn't make this stuff up. So that's why I say some stuff, y'all be sitting there plucking your brains about the new girl. You need to pluck your brain about these men that y'all been raising for 18 plus years. Why they so fucking crazy? Although I found out that he could not read the way that I found out, she was secretly sitting in the front room every day reading his mail when it came. I would think that they would be in there just chatting, maybe watching the show together. And it was becoming really odd how much time they would spend together every time he came home from work. Child, she was just reading him his mail.